that he had video footage. He also claimed to have the real Kim Porter memoir.
A judge has denied bail for Sean Diddy Combs. Of course, this was the hip-hop mogul's latest bid for freedom as he remains in federal jail for his racketeering and sex trafficking case.
The story begins with a whirlwind of intrigue, a mysterious vanishing act that has everyone talking. Picture Aaron Hall, the once celebrated R&B singer and founding member of the group Guy, has seemingly disappeared without a trace. The timing couldn't be more suspicious, as Hall's name recently surfaced in a high-profile lawsuit involving none other than Sean Diddy Combs. The lawsuit accuses both men of egregious misconduct from the early 1990s, and now Hall, an essential figure in the case, is nowhere to be found. Coincidence? Unlikely. The layers of this story only grow more twisted, and it feels like we're watching a courtroom thriller unfold in real life.
It's a legitimate concern. No judge wants to wake up and read the headlines the next day. Oh, they treated this guy special and they gave him bond, and now he's gone and he fled from justice. So that's what's in the back of most judges' minds. On the other hand, we deal with cases where clients have significant funds sometimes. And sometimes where there's money, you can craft a unique solution. Years ago, it was the ankle bracelet and the ankle monitor.
Let's rewind. The lawsuit at the center of this storm was filed by Liza Gardner, who alleges that Hall and Diddy were involved in a shocking incident decades ago. Gardner's claims are harrowing, detailing events that reportedly took place following an industry event hosted by MCA Records. According to Gardner, Hall and Diddy invited her and a friend back to Hall's apartment under the guise of an after-party, where things quickly turned sinister. Gardner's lawsuit paints a dramatic picture of betrayal and trauma, and the allegations have rocked the entertainment industry to its core. But what's equally shocking is Hall's abrupt disappearance, which has thrown a wrench into the legal proceedings. Efforts to locate Hall have been exhaustive but fruitless, and the details of the search read like the script of a detective movie. Process servers and investigators have scoured multiple states trying to serve him legal papers, but Hall has slipped through their fingers at every turn. They first attempted to reach him at an address in View Park, California, but neighbors confirmed he had moved out long ago. Then, they tried a residence in Tarzana, California, only to discover Hall hadn't lived there for years. From there, the search expanded to Ohio, where investigators knocked on doors at a Cleveland address, but again, no luck. Hall's last known residence was an apartment in Woodland Hills, California, where multiple attempts to serve him in November and January also failed. It's as if he's vanished into thin air.
It's interesting to me that with all the money he has and all the resources he has, they couldn't craft some solution that lets him be under some form of house arrest. And again, it sounds like special treatment, but the truth of the matter is, to incarcerate somebody like him is expensive to all of us. We're taxpayers, and he's got to have unique situations. You can't put him in general population where everyone wants a piece of him and everyone wants to be his friend and everyone.
Seen with each failed attempt to contact Hall, the mystery deepens. Liza Gardner's attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, has expressed frustration with the situation, stating that all reasonable methods of locating Hall have been exhausted. Blackburn has now requested permission from the court to serve Hall through newspaper notices as a last resort. I believe that service by publication is now the only remaining option to provide notice of this lawsuit to Mr. Hall. He said in a statement, "We have effectively exhausted all reasonable methods of locating him. It's an extraordinary move, but given the circumstances, it might be the only way forward." Of course, Hall's disappearance has sparked a wave of speculation. Some insiders suggest he may have intentionally gone off the grid to avoid being dragged into the legal drop. Others whisper about the possibility of Hall seeking refuge abroad, far from the prying eyes of the media and the reach of the U.S. legal system. Could he be hiding in a remote villa in Europe or laying low on a secluded beach in the Caribbean? The entertainment world is abuzz with theories, but no one seems to know for sure.
We are not done. This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly.
This isn't the first time a high-profile figure has seemingly vanished when the legal heat turned up. The parallels to other cases are uncanny, with some even drawing comparisons to the infamous Jeffrey Epstein scandal. In that saga, many of Epstein's associates faced intense scrutiny as their names surfaced in court documents, and some reportedly fled the public eye to escape the fallout. Now, a similar narrative is unfolding with Diddy's circle. Could Hall's disappearance be the tip of the iceberg? Are other celebrities linked to the case quietly making their exits, hoping to avoid being implicated? The whispers are growing louder and the tension is palpable.
Will be sued. And I say will be because nothing has been filed yet by at least 120 people in the next 30 days. So
adding fuel to the fire are rumors that dozens of celebrities connected to Diddy are also considering drastic measures to protect themselves. Hollywood insiders claim that private jets have been chartered, luxury properties sold, and overseas bank accounts tapped into as some of Diddy's acquaintances brace for what's to come, for fear's real. And it's not just about legal consequences, it's about reputational damage that could end careers and tarnish legacies. The entertainment industry thrives on image, and the associations with these lawsuits are enough to send even the most confident stars into panic mode.
Crazy, like I said before, they said that 2,300 people reached out to the law firm, and out of the 2,300 people, I guess they decided to go with just a little over 100. Which seems like it's they just put out the number and everybody's calling to see if they can get a check.
It's insane. It's insane. Now, again, he did say that nothing has been filed yet because he says he wants to make sure that they do their due diligence and get this right.
The parallels between Diddy's current legal troubles and past scandals involving powerful figures cannot be ignored. Just like the Epstein case, where lists of associates became the subject of endless scrutiny, Diddy's connections are now under the microscope. The so-called Diddy List, a rumored compilation of celebrities who've attended his notorious parties or been linked to him in some way, is making the rounds on social media. Names like Jay-Z, Beyonce, Ashton Kutcher, and Usher have been mentioned, though no wrongdoing has been alleged against them. Still, the mere association is enough to spark controversy, and the public's appetite for answers is insatiable.
If they did in fact occur, their argument is more than likely going to be that this activity was consensual, that this person was a willing participant, and not only that, but that these individuals assumed the risk of being present at those parties, of engaging and voluntarily engaging in the sexual conduct and being in those spaces, consuming drugs, consuming alcohol, and things of that nature.
Speculation about the Diddy List has only intensified in recent weeks, with some claiming that it's reminiscent of the Epstein guest lists that included high-profile politicians, celebrities, and business moguls. These lists, whether real or imagined, carry a heavy weight. They suggest a web of connections that could potentially link influential figures to questionable activities, and the fallout could be devastating. But unlike Epstein's case, where physical evidence like flight logs and photographs provided concrete proof, the Diddy List remains shrouded in mystery. Is it a genuine document or just another internet rumor fueled by the drama surrounding these lawsuits? Only time will tell.
No, it's still pretty early in the proceedings. I think it's only been about a month or a month and a half since he's been arraigned and held in detention. And so the investigations are always going to be a continuous and ongoing process. I'm sure at this point there's been an exchange of discovery. And not only that, but I think there's been a gag order placed on the attorneys with information that they can and cannot share.
As the search for Aaron Hall continues, the implications for Diddy and his circle grow more serious. The lawsuits against him are piling up, with each new claim adding another layer to an already complex and scandalous narrative. Diddy's spokespersons have vehemently denied the allegations, calling them fabricated and opportunistic. These are fabricated claims, falsely alleging misconduct from over 30 years ago and filed at the last minute. One representative said, "This is nothing but a money grab." Because of Mr. Combs' fame and success, he is an easy target for anonymous accusers who lie without conscience or consequence for financial benefit. It's a bold defense, but in the court of public opinion, the damage may already be done. Meanwhile, the entertainment world watches with bated breath, wondering who might be next to face scrutiny. Diddy's former bodyguard, Roger Bonds, recently broke his silence in an interview, stating that he would testify against Diddy if subpoenaed. "I can't say that I'm going to be an advocate for one thing and then not stand up for another thing." Bond said, "Anything I can do to help these women, I would do." His willingness to cooperate has only added to the mounting pressure on Diddy and those around him. How far will this go? With Aaron Hall missing, more lawsuits surfacing, and the specter of a Diddy List hanging over Hollywood, it feels like we're on the brink of an explosive revelation. The parallels to past scandals are undeniable, and the stakes couldn't be higher. For now, the mystery of Aaron Hall's disappearance remains unsolved, but the ripple effects are already being felt across the entertainment world.
We are not done, and that Combs did not do this alone. Do you foresee that there could be other charges related to this case?
I'm not taking anything off the table.
The parallels between the chaos surrounding Diddy's legal troubles and the infamous Epstein scandal are impossible to ignore. It's as if history is repeating itself. Only this time, the spotlight is on one of the music industry's most powerful figures. The comparisons aren't just whispered in back rooms. They're shouted across social media, dissected in headlines, and theorized about in countless online forums. And while the specifics of the cases differ, the underlying themes of power, influence, and the controversial lists of associates have sparked an eerie sense of déjà vu. Let's set the scene. When the Epstein scandal broke wide open, it wasn't just about one man's crimes, it was about the sprawling network of connections that came to light. Flight logs, contact books, and whispered, rumors about who attended those infamous gatherings became fodder for a global conversation about complicity and silence. Now, with Diddy's name dominating the headlines, similar accusations and lists are surfacing. And the questions they raise are enough to make anyone pause. How many people knew about the alleged misconduct? Who might have been involved directly or indirectly? And perhaps most intriguingly, who's on the so-called Diddy list?
Wait a minute. Say that again. Say that again. Back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is
yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of.
The Diddy list has become a topic of feverish speculation. Much like the Epstein guest lists that were leaked and dissected by armchair detectives everywhere, this rumored compilation of celebrities and influencers tied to Diddy's world has captured the public's imagination. Social media is ablaze with theories, screenshots, and even alleged leaks of names connected to Diddy's infamous parties. These gatherings, often described in hushed tones as wild and secretive, are said to have included Hollywood A-listers, top-tier musicians, and even business moguls. The list of names being floated around is staggering. Jay-Z, Beyoncé, Ashton Kutcher, Paris Hilton, Usher, and even Leonardo DiCaprio have been mentioned, though no concrete evidence ties them to any wrongdoing. Still, the mere whisper of their names in connection with the ongoing lawsuits has sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry.
Sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, at a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so it's, to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotaping.
But the questions don't just stop at who attended these gatherings. Some online sleuths are now combing through old photos, interviews, and even red carpet appearances to find any possible connections between Diddy and the alleged attendees of these events. A few grainy, long-forgotten images have resurfaced, adding fuel to the speculation. One particularly talked about moment comes from an old interview clip of Usher, where he hinted at unusual experiences during his time spent living with Diddy early in his career. "I saw things I wasn't supposed to see," he said with a nervous laugh, a statement that has since been dissected endlessly. While Usher hasn't elaborated further, his cryptic words have left many wondering what exactly went on behind closed doors.
I mean, that fact in of itself is a big deal, because when you're talking about going back in time and talking about these allegations from other alleged victims, you know, there's not a lot of police reports, but you guys actually have one. And is that going to be revealed? Are we going to be able to see it?
Yes, as soon as I file my lawsuit in civil court, I will be attaching the criminal complaint.
And then there's the resurfaced clip of Aaron Hall, who has been named in one of the lawsuits, casually discussing his preferences for public encounters in an old interview. "They've all seen me," Hall said, referencing friends and acquaintances, including Diddy. The candid nature of his remarks has shocked many, particularly in the context of the ongoing allegations. Social media users have latched onto this clip as evidence of a culture of excess and blurred boundaries within certain elite circles. Whether these comments hold any real weight in a legal sense remains to be seen, but they certainly add an unsettling dimension to the already convoluted narrative surrounding Diddy and his inner circle.
Because my next guest just testified before a federal grand jury. He says he was in possession of a trove of digital evidence from Diddy's freak-offs and parties.
But what exactly is the Diddy list, and why is it causing such a stir? Some claim it's a document that allegedly details the attendees of Diddy's infamous gatherings events that reportedly push the boundaries of excess and secrecy. Others suggest it's a broader web of connections, encompassing anyone who's ever worked with, partied with, or even casually brushed shoulders with the music mogul. Whatever the case may be, the list has taken on a life of its own, becoming a symbol of the shadowy underbelly of fame and fortune. The comparisons to Epstein's Black Book are impossible to ignore. Epstein's contact list was a veritable who's who of the elite, including politicians, royalty, and celebrities, while many of the names on that list were later proven to have no direct connection to his crimes. The mere association was enough to tarnish reputations and spark endless speculation. Similarly, the rumored Diddy list has cast a cloud of suspicion over anyone whose name is mentioned, wire or not. Are these individuals guilty of anything other than attending a party or working on a project? Or is there more to the story that's yet to come to light? Adding fuel to the fire are the whispers about what allegedly happened at some of Diddy's most exclusive gatherings. Former associates have come forward with cryptic statements, hinting at a world of excess that most of us can only imagine. Freddie P., a former member of Diddy's Making the Band show, recently spoke out in an interview claiming he witnessed behaviors that left him shocked and disillusioned. Though his comments were vague, they added yet another layer of intrigue to an already complex narrative. He's literally assaulting men, Freddie P. said, referring to Diddy. It may be common nowadays, but for a man to walk up and say certain things, that's not normal. While these claims remain unverified, they've only served to stoke the flames of public curiosity.
Are there any cameras in places where you'd assume privacy, like bathrooms?
Well, I've never been in this house, but the picture, yes. That's where it took place, yes.
You're aware of surreptitious cameras that were recording in private places like bathrooms.
I didn't see the cameras. You could tell how the person was angled.
And then there's the legal aspect. Unlike Epstein, whose crimes were primarily prosecuted in a criminal court, Diddy's troubles have so far played out largely in civil lawsuits. But that doesn't mean the stakes are any lower. The allegations against him span decades and involve multiple accusers, each with their own harrowing stories. The lawsuits have named not only Diddy but also his companies and associates, painting a picture of a powerful figure at the center of a web of alleged misconduct. And just like with Epstein, the lawsuits have opened the floodgates for others to come forward, emboldened by the bravery of the initial accusers.
Now, to the latest on the arrest of Sean Diddy Combs. This one has so many people talking. The disgraced music mogul facing federal racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking charges. Both the prosecution and defense teams are set to discuss the next phase of action following the indictment, as investigators work to determine potential co-conspirators. But how exactly did we get here?
The similarities don't end there. In both cases, the role of enablers has been a hot topic of discussion. Epstein had a network of associates who were accused of facilitating his crimes, and now questions are being raised about who might have enabled Diddy's alleged behavior. From bodyguards and assistants to business partners and friends, the spotlight is widening to include anyone who might have had knowledge of the alleged misconduct. One of Diddy's former bodyguards, Roger Bonds, has already stated that he's willing to testify against his former boss if asked. "If I get subpoenaed, I'm not going to jail for nobody," Bonds said in a recent interview. His willingness to speak out has only added to the sense that this story is far from over. Of course, not everyone is staying silent. Diddy's legal team has been quick to push back against the allegations, calling them baseless and opportunistic. These are fabricated claims falsely alleging misconduct from over 30 years ago and filed at the last minute, a spokesperson for Diddy said. This is nothing but a money grab. It's a strong statement, but in the court of public opinion, the tide seems to be turning against the music mogul. The sheer number of lawsuits and accusers makes it increasingly difficult for his team to dismiss the claims as mere fabrications.
I think it's to be expected, just the shock of this and the questions about what is ahead of us. I mean, how long is he going to be in custody? Is this an R. Kelly situation? Is he going to not get out for a number of years? Is he going to end up serving a long-term prison sentence from this? Or does he have a chance of beating these charges at a trial that could come, within the next 2 years?
And let's not forget about the broader implications for the entertainment industry as a whole. Much like the Epstein scandal forced Hollywood and other elite circles to confront uncomfortable truths about power and privilege, Diddy's legal troubles are prompting a similar reckoning. The whispers about who knew what and when are growing louder, and the public's appetite for accountability has never been stronger. Will this be the moment when the industry finally takes a hard look at itself, or will it be just another chapter in a long history of scandals that are quickly swept under the rug? As the parallels between Diddy and Epstein continue to unfold, one thing is clear. This story is far from over. The lawsuits, the rumors, and the mysterious Diddy list have created a perfect storm of intrigue and speculation. Every day brings new revelations, new accusations, and new theories about what might come next. For now, all we can do is watch and wait as this real-life drama plays out in the public eye. So, what do you think? Is the Diddy list a genuine document or just another internet rumor? And how deep do you believe the connections between Diddy and his circle really go? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more updates on this unfolding story. Stay tuned, because if there's one thing we've learned, it's that the truth has a way of coming to light eventually.